Well, good evening, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's still August 6, 2025, and a little bit before 7 in the evening, and you'll never guess where I'm at. I'm in a van down by the river. Now, if you saw that other van over there, right over there, that's a fancy one, and that belongs to my friend Nancy. And we're doing a night set out here. And I met Nancy through my storytelling gig at Noli's, and after the history part of it's done, the subject almost always goes over to the Sasquatch topic. And so anyway, I figured I'd give you a little, I'm not going to try to film anything while we're sitting here, but I figured I'd give you a little intro, tell you that we're here. And I'm going to shut the camera down now. The sun's already down here. It'll be getting dark pretty quick. And we'll probably stay here till, I don't know, probably 9, 10 o'clock at night, depending on how much activity we have. And I'll give you a wrap on this tomorrow and a full report of what happens. So we'll be back as soon as I got something to tell you about. Well, it's the next day, and so let me tell you what happened out by the river last night. We, Nancy and I, both got there about half an hour before sunset, and of course it's it's down the canyon, so the sun goes behind the canyon walls kind of early. So we sat there and sat in chairs and chatted a little bit, and I reached out to see if I could get any reaction from the forest people. And initially, I didn't, and so we just chatted about things for a while, and I reached out again, and I got a tingle. And it was I don't know how to describe it. It was the impression I got was that it was a juvenile, and he was pretty unsure of himself. And so I responded back to him, and finally he started getting dialed in a little bit. And I asked him how many of them were there, and I got 4. And so then I asked him his name, and the name I got was either, I had trouble understanding it, but it was either Destin, Desty, or Destiny, and I finally figured out I thought it was Destin. Had to turn the fire radio off. I finally figured out it was Destin, and pretty sure he was a male. I asked him how old he was. He said 14. He acted like he was real hesitant to talk to me. And so I got a little bit of back and forth with him. And I was asking Nancy if she was getting anything, and she said she was getting absolutely nothing. She could, and she's pretty savvy. She's been following this stuff for a while, and she's been, talking to me at my Noli's meetups and watching some of my videos, and she's actually been out to this spot before, and but she says she was getting absolutely zero. And so a little bit of time went by, and I actually thought I saw a cloaked figure as it started getting darker back over there where I thought his energy was coming from. And I wasn't 100% sure, but at one point I'm pretty sure I thought I saw a cloaked figure standing over there. But anyway, a little bit later on, I got another energy, and so I was asking that individual who he was, and I got Rolly. I'm not sure how old Rolly was, but he seemed like a juvenile as well. And what I finally think I figured out is out of the 4 of them there, I think that probably 3 of them were probably early teens or maybe even pre-teens, and I think one other one might have been a little bit older, maybe in his 20s or something. Because at one point I got a pretty good zap, and it was a pretty solid controlled zap, and a little bit different than what I normally get from juveniles. But I was asking them if they could just do something to let Nancy know that they were there, and but she didn't get anything. Well, a little bit later, I thought as it got pretty dark, I thought I could see some cloaked figures coming in fairly close to us, and there was one nearby me, and then another one was over the other side of where Nancy was sitting. And but you know, it was getting dark enough, and she couldn't see him. She couldn't see what I was seeing, and of course that led me to second guess myself, and I wasn't sure I was seeing him either. And anyway, we stayed until about 20 minutes after 9, and we decided to call it a night. There never was any larger presence or anything more major than that. You know, I did get enough of a connection and a solid enough zaps that I was pretty sure that, you know, they were there. There was no doubt about that, but there wasn't very many of them. And now there could have been a number of reasons for that. And, you know, one was maybe they were just doing something else, and these guys were the kind of the home guard. Another thing is we're only 2 days away from full moon. And, you know, and they have what they call gatherings, and maybe all the elders had taken off and gone to a gathering on the full moon, and maybe these ones that were here that were talking to us, they might have just been holding down the fort, so to speak. So I don't know. I had really hoped that we'd get over there and that something would happen that would give Nancy her aha moment, because she hasn't had that yet. And you know, an aha moment, for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, and that's when you have something happen and all of a sudden a little light comes on in your head and says, you know, that can't be anything else. That's got to be them. There's nothing else could do this. And they can come in a number of different forms. And but anyway, we heard a little bit of noise off in the woods, and a couple of what I thought were foot stomps, and a couple of stick breaks, and some little vocalizations and some stuff like that. But she never really got anything she could hang her hat on. And I was kind of disappointed in that, and I think she probably was too. And like I said, when I thought I could see some of this stuff, and I was trying to describe it to her, and she just absolutely couldn't see what I was seeing. And of course that led me to second guess myself, and I do that all the time, and we all do that all the time, because a lot of this stuff is pretty darn subtle. And a couple of things that happened last night to me that weren't subtle and it was, number one, the mind speak, and that one time I got a pretty good zap. And so anyway, so did it have activity? Yeah. Was it off the charts type activity? No. Was I able to give Nancy the aha moment that I wanted to, and that she's been wanting as well? And the answer to that is no. Told her, you know, even in my circumstances, it actually took me about 6 years before I first had my first actual aha moment. And of course, she hasn't been doing that for nearly this long. So, you know, it just, patience wins out. And I think maybe these, you know, the ones, if I'm right, and these juveniles that we're talking to were just the home guard, you know, they're probably not supposed to talk to us anyway. So they were pushing the envelope a little bit to talk to us at all. But I did get 2 names, Destin and Rolly. And that's to add to the collection of names I already got from the ones that are out there. And I'm pretty sure they knew who I was, and I've been out there before. And but of course, you know, they might just not know Nancy, and they might have been real hesitant to reach out to her just because they don't know who she is. And so they do what they do, and on their own timetable. And so that's my recap of what happened last night. And I think this is a good spot. I'm going to be going back there. It's not a very long drive. If nothing else, it's a very, very pretty place to sit out in the cool of the evening after a hot day. And, you know, it hit 101 here yesterday, and a little bit ago my thermometer said 100 here, but right now we got some clouds moved in, so right now we're in the shade. So let me wrap this one up, and I'll tell you, as I always do, take care of each other, love each other, and show gratitude for what you have and the life you lead, because there's a whole lot of people that don't have as good a life as you do, and there's a whole lot of people in war zones who don't have you know, they're not on either one of the sides, but they're right in the middle somewhere, and they don't know whether something's going to happen and they're going to wake up to see the light of day or not. And most of us are fortunate enough we certainly don't have to deal with that. So I'll be back again with another one here on another subject here for too long. But for right now, let me just tell you, peace out.